Hello and hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use he and pronouns. Today we are looking at autism memes, and for those of you who are new, have never seen me before, your first video, I'm a trans guy and I'm also autistic, and I was only formally diagnosed a month ago. And yes, and I'm starting to make videos about autism and autistic experiences and whatnot. So welcome to my channel if you are brand new and this is your first video. Otherwise, let's get on with the video, which is autism memes. And I like commentating on autism memes, and that's the style of my my main videos. Like I commentate and share stories and lived experience. Side note, but in case you're wondering, yes, my t-shirt is Eren Yeager from Attack on Titans. I'm not a huge anime fan, but I started watching Attack on Titans and I really like the aesthetics of this shirt, therefore I bought it. Anyway, on to the video, and I will be putting the memes on this side as I review, and I'm going to be looking at it on my other phone. Therefore, if I look down, it's because I'm looking at the meme, but I will post them here so we can all follow along with the meme together. First meme. It says, if you met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. And this is trying to say that, I mean, this wasn't so much a meme, but I found it on Reddit under the autistic memes subreddit. It's basically saying that don't generalize. For example, if you meet me, you talk to me, and I'm autistic, it doesn't mean the next autistic person or the next autistic person is the same as me. Everyone's experiences are very different, and I like comparing it to trans experience, because not all trans people are the same, not all autistic people are the same. Like, experiences are very varied. Something that might really be overwhelming for one autistic person might not be so overwhelming for another autistic person. It really depends, and because everyone's experiences are very different, essentially. Don't generalize. If you meet one person with autism or who's autistic, it's that one person's experience and not everyone's experiences, and that one person doesn't represent every single autistic person in existence and the experiences of every single autistic person in existence. Second meme, it says what eye contact feels like, and it's someone in a suit of armor where the whole face is covered. The armor is like whole face shield, and there's like a little gap for the eyes to see out of, and there is an arrow piercing through the little gap left for the eyes. There's an arrow pierced right through, and that's what eye contact feels like. And absolutely, eye contact to me is basically like staring at the sun. Like, I mean, when people look at me when I talk, that's not a problem. But when I talk to people, I almost always, from what I know of, like the brief glimpses of what I'm aware of in terms of what happens to where I look when I talk to people, is almost always away from the person. I even find it hard to like look in the direction of the person's face. Like, sometimes people like look at like the nose or the chin or like behind the person, so you're still looking at like in the direction of the person. I like look out the window, I look over there, I look at the ceiling, I just look over there sometimes when I talk to people. It's easier like when someone is talking and I look at them, but that's the whole. It's still a very overwhelming little side story. Like, is this past week, I've had to not mask so much in meeting clients for work, and I have been forcing myself to look at people in the face, in the eye, when they are talking, and I've been doing it every day for the past week. And it's really affected my mental health, and I've just crashed at the end of the week. And I'm filming this video, I'm like sort of better, but I'm not fully better. But completely crashed mentally, just really apathetic, just gone down like into sort of a depressive spiral, because I'm not saying that's the entire reason for my downfall. That's one of the things that contributed, is the not The masking, yes, the masking. And forcing myself to look at people when they're talking, because that's not normal for me. That's not natural for me. That's me coercing myself to do it, because naturally, subconsciously, I look away. But in this case, I forced myself to look at people. And it's not just 5-10 minutes, mind you. Like there was like, it was like either 1 hour or 2 hour conversation straight. It was a lot. Yeah, eye contact it's really intimidating, and I think the reason I subconsciously look away when I talk to people is because if I was forcing myself to look at people in the face, in the eye, and talk at the same time, it's like the two simultaneously is like extremely difficult. Me look at people in the eye or at their face, and me talking at the same time. It's just extremely difficult, very difficult. And if I were to try to do that, firstly, I would just mess up all my words and not really talk properly and just derail really quickly. And secondly, I had a point. I lost the point I was trying to make, but I sort of related. It related, but not the point I was going to say before, because I lost that. I find it easier when like hanging out with people or like just meeting people, just sitting next to each other instead of like directly opposite each other. Like it's just less intimidating, and there's no like pressure to have to look each other in the face and look at each other in the eye. If we both look in the same direction, sitting next to each other, it's less intimidating, like significantly less intimidating, and I communicate better, to be honest. Also related is I listen better and I pay attention better and I process what people are saying better if I don't look at people in the face, in the eye when having conversations, or shall I say, forcing myself to make eye contact. In not forcing myself to make eye contact with people when they are talking, I listen better. That might sound weird, but I listen better when I am not looking directly at people. If I look out the window and people are talking to me, I process more of what they say and actually focus more than when I'm like intentionally like forcing myself to like look. Third meme. This is a tweet from someone. It says, "Is there an emoji for I saw your text but didn't know how to perfectly respond to it. So I waited until I knew exactly what to say, but it's been 3 weeks, so now I just feel microbursts of shame every time I see your name in the elephant graveyard of messages on my phone." And I'm reading that weirdly because there's like no punctuation in that entire sentence. And I'm just like, break it down. I relate to this because sometimes when I read people's messages or when people tell me something, I don't know how to respond right away. Sometimes people are like, say something to me and they're like, "What do you think, Lev?" And I'm like, I don't know. That's my usual response is I don't know, because look, it's like by the time they finish the sentence, I haven't even finished processing the question or what they have said, let alone formulate a response to answer the question, if that makes sense. It's just like my brain doesn't work that fast, and I don't know how like people do it. I think neurotypical people can do it better than me. I'm just like, I don't know how you like absorb information that fast and then formulate a response that fast when they just finished asking the question. And I think that's also why I don't really like talking. I don't contribute much in group meetings or group settings during the meeting. It's because there's a lot of talking. It's info overload. I haven't had time to process what everyone's saying. Therefore, I have nothing to contribute because I haven't even taken in all the information, let alone process all of the information, and then think about it. Well, that's basically processing, is thinking about it subconsciously and consciously, and then my brain putting pieces together and like, oh yeah, this makes sense like this, and then being like, okay, this is my thoughts on it, linking that information to my brain, the info in my brain, pulling out things from my brain that I know that would help or make sense in the context of this conversation, and then formulating and wording my response, and then actually responding. It's a whole process, and I don't know how people do it so fast. Therefore, most of the time, people ask me something, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then later, like, it could be a few hours, or it could be a few days, or a few weeks. It depends on what it is. Once my brain's finished processing, I basically have an entire thesis ready, like mentally. Like, I either write a very long response. It's like, here's my thesis about this thing. I finished processing. Now here's my thesis. Or when I, talk, and I just like da 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 for like what feels like a long period of time, because everything is everything is cooked and it's ready to be served. That's my analogy. It's like my thoughts have been cooked, my processing, everything's been cooked. Here's my serving of it here. Now I'm ready. Yep. In summary of what I was trying to say in response to the previous meme, I cannot retain information, process information, and formulate a response all simultaneously, let alone all simultaneously within a short period of time that people are asking me for my thoughts or my response or my opinion to whatever is being discussed. It's just impossible. It just can't work like that. Fourth meme. There's 3 more after this one. This meme says, when you hit your limit for social interaction, and then the character in the meme is like, we just crossed the threshold. Absolutely. For me, I have like a social battery, and if it's like, I don't want it to be like completely dead, like analogous to a phone battery. I don't want my phone battery to be like completely dead, like at 0%. Like, I charge it before it hits 0%. And it's similar for me as like a human who's autistic, is I have a social battery, and my limit for, I don't know the percentage, my limit, but if I hit the certain limit, I have reserve battery. Like, I like to break it down. Like, I have like core battery, then I have like reserve battery, and then once I deplete all of my reserve battery, that's when I hit 0% and then I crash. But during the reserve battery, it's like this is the time you need to stop. If I start using my reserve battery, it's already sort of too late. It's already like, this is like your little bit left that you have to keep you going. You need to stop now and recharge, otherwise you're gonna completely crash. And also, when I hit my limit, I know, because I feel really like annoyed and easily irritated, and I don't want to socialize. I purge social media, as in I deactivate stuff and tell people, hey, I'm not going to be online. Like, don't like text me if you need stuff. I'm not going to be online. I don't feel like talking to people. I don't want to hang out with people. I nicely decline hang out, be like, I can't show up right now. That's why I said to one of my friends recently is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm sort of going into hibernation. I can't show up right now as much as I want to. I can't show up right now to like social stuff. I just can't. Yeah, but I tell people, I also said to someone else, I need to be alone right now. Like, I don't have the capacity for social, and I don't have the capacity to hang out. I just need to be alone right now. And that's helping me get back on my feet. If I already passed my social threshold and I continue forcing myself to be social, I'm likely gonna snap at people, and it's going to really hurt me psychologically by lying to myself and declining my own needs to recharge and basically not be around people. I think this is the fifth meme, but next meme. There's a person in a suit, and the text over it says, "You play with." It's broken down to three different sentences. The first sentence says, "You play with your hair because you are flirting." Second sentence says, "I play with my hair because I am stimming." Third line says, "We are not the same." I absolutely agree because sometimes, actually, I don't know if I did this when I had long hair. I don't remember. I don't remember if I was stimming like that before I came out. I don't remember. But I do stim. That's why I have this. I still have this. I'm not using it right now because I don't need to, but I bring this everywhere I go in my pocket. It's like the three key things I take with me now is phone, wallet, fidget spinner, and earplugs. That's four. These are like essentials for when I go anywhere. Even if I go for a walk around my neighborhood, I take this and I take earplugs. Yes, what was I saying? Stimming. I stim, and when I have hoodies, when I feel overstimulated, I play with the hoodie strap that's used to tighten the hoodie. I play with that. Sometimes I do this. I hand. Sometimes I wink subconsciously. Like I have done this when I've gone out before. Like when I'm walking and I feel overwhelmed, I'm just like this. I do this, and people may or may not interpret that as like me being weird, me being creepy, or like, I don't know, trying to hit on people. But honestly, when I do that, I don't even think about any of that. I just do it subconsciously because I just feel overwhelmed. And like this meme, it's not the same thing, like playing with hair because flirting and playing with hair because stimming. Two very different things. And in a world where being neurotypical is majority and being neurodivergent is not very well understood, and there's a lot of misrepresentation, there's a lot of underrepresentation and good representation of what it really means to be neurodivergent and what that really looks like, and what neurodivergent people, me and my community, really go through in being neurodivergent. It's not a lot of there's a lack of representation compared to there's a lack of representation in proportion to a lot of people's misunderstanding and misinformation about these experiences. And I don't really know how to explain stimming very well, but I'll try to explain it for my understanding and what it really means to me for those of you who may not be aware of what stimming is. It's like behaviors that help me self-regulate. So if I'm feeling very overwhelmed and very tense, I do whatever I need to sort of bring down the internal distress level, because if I'm stimming, it means that I'm overwhelmed, I'm overstimulated by my environment, I need an escape route. If I don't have an escape from it, I stim, which is sort of like a strategy that helps me hopefully bring down the level of distress I'm experiencing. For example, this is stimming because I really like the sound of a fidget spinner. I really like watching a fidget spinner spin. I don't know, it's sort of hypnotizing. And sometimes when I'm really overwhelmed, what really helps me is putting this near my ear and just listening to it, and I can control the speed of this, and it makes different sounds. So if I make it go really fast, it sounds different to when I spin it slowly like this. I'm very sensitive to noise, and I can pick up on the different sounds it makes depending on the speed. Or I play with my hoodie string. It helps me regulate internal distress and not feel so overwhelmed in the current situation I'm in. Second last meme. It says, "My boss, you need to learn how to network." And then me, and it's like, I think it's a Star Wars, I was about to say Car Wars character, Star Wars character that says, "Tell me how." It's basically the boss is saying, "You need to learn how to network," and then me, the autistic person, is saying, or the character in this meme is saying, "Tell me how." You know what's funny? This is like incredibly relatable because I was told before that I don't like within the last year or the year before that it's really good and helpful to network. It's really good for job hunting and like building connection stuff. And then I'm like, how do you even network? How do you network? And then there's like networking events that I see get posted, and I'm like, what do you even do at this event? Like, do you go up to people and be like, "Hi, I'm Lev. I work in mental health." And I'll be like, what do you say? What do you do? How does the whole process work? I know it's just conversations, right? But then I need more guidelines and like structure than just you talk to people about work stuff and build connections. It's like I need more than that. Like I really like sometimes I have, well, not as of late, but like before I really built up my social skills, and when I had severe anxiety and unknowingly being autistic, it was very hard for me to talk and know what to say and know how to make friends and know how to build connections. So now I'm a lot better, but I'm still like, so what do you actually do at this event, and how do you actually network, and what does it actually mean to network? That's a good question, because I take things very literally, right? And I'm very detailed oriented, and I like specifics. And I'm like, so what does it actually mean to network with people in this like work professional context? What does that actually mean? What does that look like? What does that entail? What is the what is the purpose of it? I have many questions, but I don't have many answers. So anyway, back to the meme itself. It's very relatable. The last meme for this video, and I find this meme very funny, and the image that encapsulates the meme hilarious. I will put it. The text says, "The autism leaving my body." When someone says to me, "You don't look autistic," and then there's a picture of like a person, like just sort of like this at the sky. There's like a laser beam that just, it looks like a giant laser beam that's just like radiating from this person's body, and that's meant to symbolize the autism leaving the body. When someone says you don't look autistic, then it's just like, all right, bye. I find this meme very funny. I personally haven't had anyone say to me, "You don't look autistic," and the people I've told, the people I have told that I'm autistic, I mean, the people in my life that I tell about my autism have not said shit like this to me, and they're very supportive and understanding. And none of them has said, "You don't look autistic." But I have heard of people, autistic people, being told, "You don't look autistic." And if I was told that, I would think, what does being autistic look like? What does that look like? Did like you want us to wear a shirt, or like hold signs everywhere we go, or like tattoo "I'm autistic" on our foreheads or something? Like, what does that look like? It's like I compare it to trans experiences, because there's also trans people receiving, "You don't look trans," and I'm like, what does being trans look like? What is that meant to look like? Because it's definitely not assigned sex at birth, and it's definitely not gender expression, because gender identity does not equate to gender expression. And I'm gonna stop right there because this is a completely different video. Back to the autistic stuff. Yes, what does it look like? Because how can you see my photosensitivity to light, and how I hate bright lights, and how I'm very sensitive to noise? Like, how can you see that from looking at me right now? Like, how can you see that my social battery is low? I could mask and be like, yeah, I have so much energy. It's like, how would you know? You don't know. That's the idea that you can tell that someone is autistic by looking at them. It's just really misinformed and very damaging because it feels autistic people having to mask. That's why we mask, because we don't fit in the boxes that people expect, and we don't fit into the boxes, the ideals that people expect of someone who is autistic, which is, many autistic people are successful. We go to work, we have friends, why did my voice just go high-pitched? I don't know. We have friends, we date, we're in relationships, we socialize, we go out to events, we do things. We do things. It's just stupid. Like, what does... I'm actually curious though, like the people who say you don't look autistic, like I would like to get an idea of what it actually means. Like, what are you looking for? What do you look for when you look for someone who's autistic based on their physical characteristics? Like, what do you actually look for? I'm actually very intrigued. Just to reiterate a point again, autistic and neurodivergent people tend to mask and not really be ourselves fully in living in this current society because of stupid shit like this. Because there's misunderstanding and misrepresentation, and then people's ideas about autism and autistic people are incorrect and skewed. And then when they meet someone that doesn't align with, when they meet an autistic person that doesn't align with what the image of autism they expect, they say shit like, you don't look autistic, whether it be consciously or unconsciously. And then it perpetuates the cycle of this current status quo, the status quo of the current world is not entirely safe for autistic people and neurodivergent people to not mask and fully express ourselves and our needs and everything. It just perpetuates, and the more we mask, the more damaging it is to us and our mental health and our well-being, because we can't fully express ourselves and do what we need to without fear of being judged, or actually being judged or bullied or harassed or mistreated or discriminated against. It's not nice. It's not nice. I don't know how long this... I tend to say this after a lot of the videos I film, is I don't know how long this video has gone for until I edit it and put it all together. But nonetheless, I hope you... I don't know why I do that. I don't know. Sometimes I talk with my face too when I do this, subconsciously. And that with my eyes, like this. It's just... Anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. And for those of you who are brand new to my channel, welcome to my channel. And I hope you enjoy the content I create, and feel free to pursue the content on my channel, which is way too much, as you please. Thank you for watching, folks, and I will see you in the next video.